The Millionaire's heart. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Harrison Blake's penthouse office, casting long shadows across the polished mahogany desk. At 52, Harrison had built an empire from nothing, his name synonymous with success in the business world. But success, he had learned, was a cold companion on lonely nights. Harrison adjusted his silk tie and glanced at his watch. Another board meeting in an hour, another deal to close, another million to add to his fortune. The routine had become as predictable as sunrise, yet somehow less warming. His assistant, Margaret, knocked softly before entering. "Mr. Blake, there's a situation downstairs." Security called about a disturbance in the lobby. Harrison frowned. His building was known for its discretion and quiet elegance. What kind of disturbance? A young woman with a child. She's asking to see you specifically. Says it's urgent. Harrison's jaw tightened. Over the years, many people had tried to reach him with sob stories, hoping for handouts or investments. He'd learned to keep his distance, to let security handle such matters. "Tell security to escort them out," he said, turning back to his documents. Margaret hesitated. "Sir, the woman. She mentioned your brother." The pen slipped from Harrison's fingers. He hadn't heard anyone mention Daniel in years. His younger brother had died in a car accident 15 years ago, taking with him the last connection Harrison had to family, to anything resembling warmth in his carefully constructed world. "What did she say?" Harrison's voice was barely above a whisper. "She said Daniel was her husband." The words hit Harrison like a physical blow. He gripped the edge of his desk, his knuckles white. Daniel had been traveling when he died, working as a photographer, always chasing the next story, the next adventure. Harrison had never known the details of his brother's life in those final years. Their relationship had been strained, divided, by Harrison's relentless pursuit of wealth and Daniel's free-spirited nature. "Bring them up," Harrison said quietly. Margaret nodded and left. Harrison stood and walked to the window, gazing down at the city below. 15 years of silence, 15 years of wondering what his brother's life had been like in those final months. And now, someone claiming to be Daniel's wife was here, with a child. The elevator chimed softly, and Harrison turned to see a young woman entering his office. She was perhaps 30, with tired eyes and dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore a faded blue dress that had seen better days, and her hands trembled slightly as she clutched a small purse. Beside her stood a little girl, maybe 6 years old, with curly brown hair and eyes that were startlingly familiar. Those eyes. Harrison's breath caught. They were Daniel's eyes, the same warm brown with flecks of gold that had sparkled with mischief and dreams. "Mr. Blake," the woman said, her voice steady despite her obvious nervousness. "My name is Sarah Chen. I was married to your brother Daniel." Harrison studied her face, searching for any sign of deception. But there was only honesty there, and a deep sadness that mirrored his own. "Daniel never mentioned being married," Harrison said carefully. Sarah's smile was sad. "He talked about you all the time. He wanted to reconnect, to bridge the gap between you two. He was planning to bring me and Emma to meet you when ... double quotes." She paused, swallowing hard. "When the accident happened, the little girl, Emma, had been quietly exploring the office with her eyes, taking in the expensive furniture and artwork. But now she moved closer to Harrison, studying his face with the innocent curiosity of childhood. "You look like Daddy," she said simply. Harrison's carefully constructed walls began to crumble. He knelt down to Emma's level, seeing Daniel's features reflected in her small face. The same nose, the same stubborn chin, the same way of tilting her head when she was thinking. "Your daddy was my brother," Harrison said softly. Emma's eyes widened. "Really? Mummy said I had an uncle somewhere, but we couldn't find you." Sarah stepped forward. "I tried to contact you after Daniel died, but your office... They said you weren't taking calls. I understand. You're a busy man, and we're strangers to you." Harrison felt the weight of 15 years of isolation pressing down on him. How many calls had he refused? How many people had he shut out in his pursuit of success? "Why are you here now?" he asked, still kneeling beside Emma. "We're moving away," Sarah said. "I lost my job last month, and I can't afford rent anymore. We're going to live with my sister in Oregon. I just... I wanted Emma to meet you before we left. She deserves to know she has family." Emma reached out and touched Harrison's face gently. "Daddy said you were very smart and worked in a big building. He said you were probably lonely like the giants in fairy tales." Harrison's eyes filled with tears. Even in death, Daniel had understood, to him better than he understood himself. "I am lonely," Harrison admitted, his voice breaking. "I've been very lonely." Emma smiled, the same bright smile that Daniel had possessed. "You don't have to be lonely anymore. You can be part of our family." Sarah knelt down beside them. "Emma, sweetie, Mr. Blake has his own life. We can't just..." "But he's my uncle," Emma protested. "Daddy said families stick together." Harrison looked at Sarah, seeing the pride and desperation warring in her eyes. She had come here not to ask for money, but to give Emma something precious, the knowledge that she wasn't alone in the world. "Daniel was right," Harrison said, standing slowly. "Families should stick together." He walked to his desk and pressed the intercom. "Margaret, cancel all my appointments for today and call my lawyer. I need to make some arrangements." Sarah stood up, confusion in her eyes. "Mr. Blake, what are you doing?" Harrison turned to face them both, his niece and the woman who had loved his brother. For the first time in 15 years, he felt something warm stirring in his chest. "I'm remembering what's important," he said. "Emma, would you like to see where your daddy and I grew up? There's a house by the lake, with a tire swing and a big oak tree perfect for climbing." Emma's face lit up. "Really, can we go there?" Harrison looked at Sarah, hope and uncertainty in his eyes. "If your mother agrees, you can stay there as long as you like. Both of you." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Mr. Blake, we can't accept charity. It's not charity," Harrison said gently. "It's family. And please, call me Harrison. Or better yet, ... He knelt down again as Emma threw her arms around his neck. "Uncle Harrison," she said, giggling. Harrison held his niece close, feeling the ice around his heart finally beginning to thaw. In finding Daniel's family, he had found his own way home. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows, warming the three of them as they stood together in the office that had once been Harrison's entire world, but now looking at Emma's bright smile and Sarah's grateful tears. Harrison knew that his real fortune had just walked through his door. Family, he realized, was the only wealth that truly mattered.